All right. Hey, this is Mayo, and welcome to this rather interesting episode. I don't know if we can call it an episode. This is something purely for educational purposes. This is a game, the part of my childhood, called Mission to McDonaldland, and is a point-and-click adventure game. Only came out in Australia and New Zealand, and therefore it was designed for an audience that was, for Australian and New Zealand children. Now, there's something, this is obviously a big part of my childhood, way back, and finally have the chance to play it again thanks to emulation. But there was a feature in this game that I neglected as a kid because I thought it was just something boring. But upon looking back on it, and I investigated this particular feature of this game, it was a goldmine of relatively cringy things. Essentially, it's the calendar.
Catch me if you can. Woohoo!
And as you might get to tell, everything is voiced by Australians. There's only 3 Australian voice actors, I'm pretty sure they're Australian, that attempt to make all these different entries for these different calendar dates about things in history and those sorts of things. So there's 2 different calendars, one specific to Australia, one more specific to New Zealand. So I'll go through the Australian one first and then go through New Zealand. There's some minor changes between the 2 of them. So this is essentially going to be an educational experience for you all. You might learn something new, and perhaps a chance for you all to maybe even maybe slightly cringe a bit as well with how things are, how the voice actors handle these particular entries. So without further ado, let us begin. All right, we're in the month of November, so we're starting in November. But I'll probably, for the sake of this, I'll start from January and go all the way through to December. So, of course, we got our 1st of January.
Happy New Year!
Yeah.
Welcome to 1999. At home and all around the world, people today are wishing all their friends and family a Happy New Year.
And we make New Year resolutions, making up our minds to do things better this year.
This year I'm going to be good, thoughtful, kind, and always do my homework.
Oh, get real. I'm going to fly around the world in a hot air balloon, visit Mars, become a world champion runner.
Not.
Am so.
Oh, come on, gang. One more time for luck.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, I really hope that sets the standard. Yes, and they also attempt to imitate a few different accents because there's a few international things they want to throw in here as well because Australia and New Zealand are quite multicultural. Yes, is that. We're off to a fantastic start.
Well, it's quite a crowd here today watching this first ever one-day cricket international between Australia and England. And who would have thought years ago that one-day cricket would ever come about? But here it is in 1971, and I believe cricket will never be the same again. Oh, a beautiful cover drive there, a magnificent drive, and that'll be 4 runs.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add to that because I never follow cricket. I think it's a pretty boring sport, but that's just me. I know some people will say otherwise.
317 years ago, I, Edmund Halley, first sighted a comet that was to be named after me. That's right, Halley's Comet. It's a real space traveller, too, visiting the Earth on an average every 76 years, which means that every 76 years, give or take a year or two, everybody remembers my name. Marvellous, isn't it?
On this day in 1788, the first fleet arrived in Botany Bay. There were 11 ships in the fleet, and it took them 252 days to complete the journey to the Great South Land.
Yeah, so there's a lot of history here that's relating to Australian history, and I think the same will apply to New Zealand history. So you'll get to learn a bit more about that as well.
I think the capital of Australia should be Melbourne.
I'm sorry, but it has to be Sydney.
No, Adelaide.
Oh, why can't it be Wagga Wagga?
I've got an idea. Why don't we just build a new city? Call it Canberra. Make it the capital of Australia, and then everyone will be happy.
Yeah, that's essentially how it happened. Shout out to the person who really wants Wagga Wagga to be the capital of Australia. We need to petition that. Oh, shout out to all the people in Wagga Wagga. Yeah, essentially it was like people were arguing who should be the capital, and people were like, screw you, we're gonna put it in between Sydney and Melbourne. Put its own territory around it too. Canberra being the capital of Australia, but clearly nowhere near as awesome and popular as, say, the other Australian cities. Shout out to people who are living in Canberra right now. And then we have...
G'day, mates. Today's a very special day for us Aussies. It's a day when we celebrate all that's great about our wide brown land. On January 26, 1788, Governor Phillip stepped ashore at Farm Cove in Sydney and raised a flag to signal the start of the colony. And that's true blue, mates.
Yep, very Australian, or attempt at a very Australian accent, but of course they've nailed it. But yeah, interestingly enough, Australia Day sort of grabbed a little bit more controversy, and there's some mention about moving Australia Day to a different date because, yeah, it's for other Aboriginal communities, it's more a day of mourning because it's saying, oh, like, yeah, it's an interesting topic anyway. But yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. So yeah, it's sort of, some of this stuff I think sort of reflects a bit of the attitudes or was common, like, knowledge at the time, especially back in the late 1990s. All right, moving on.
159 years ago, the Waitangi Treaty was signed between us, the Maoris and Great Britain. It was a treaty to stop the fighting and protect the rights of the Maori people. But it also gave Great Britain control of New Zealand. Waitangi means weeping waters.
Yep, and this is actually a New Zealand specific thing here, so... But still, it's quite interesting, and I'm kind of curious to know if any other New Zealanders, what they think of this particular day.
Oh, Esmeralda, my love for you has no bounds. I love you more than the moon and the stars. Oh, Esmeralda, could you be my Valentine?
Oh, thought you'd never ask. Now hand over the chockies.
Sorry, I just... You know, you have this prim and proper male trying to... You know, and the female just has a bogan Sheila accent who just wants the chocolates.
Welcome to Chinese New Year, a time of much happiness and noise. It's traditional to have fireworks of all kinds to welcome the year ahead. Did you know that Chinese people named their year after animals? Last year was the year of the tiger. 1999 is the year of the hare. Next year will be the year of the dragon.
Yeah, I don't know how well they really did these accents, to be honest. Oh, God. But Chinese New Year, also known as Lunar New Year, yeah, it's still quite widely celebrated in Australia.
There was movement around the station, for the word had got round that Banjo Patterson, Australia's greatest bush poet, was born today in 1864. He wrote wonderful bush ballads, like The Man from Snowy River and Clancy of the Overflow. He even wrote the words to Waltzing Matilda.
Yep, so obviously someone who's quite prominent in some of our history.
Talking of modern trains, you can't go past the Indian Pacific for sheer distance and majesty. Beginning on this day in 1970, it went on its first run from Sydney to Perth. That's from the Pacific Ocean across the whole breadth of Australia to the Indian Ocean in the west. Pretty neat, eh? Just between you and me, I'm now working on my secret new project, the first train to travel from Earth to Mars. Only I can't quite figure out how to keep the train tracks from floating away in space.
Oh, God.
It's that time again. I'm a tree, but I'm not an evergreen tree. I'm what you call a deciduous tree, which means my leaves fall off in autumn, or fall, as they call it in the northern hemisphere. Anyway, today is the first day of autumn, which means I'm going shopping for something warm to wear.
Yeah, so again, southern hemisphere, all the seasons are reversed compared to northern hemisphere, so that's officially our first day of autumn.
Well, it's a great day for the Irish, to be sure. On St. Patrick's Day, Irish people get out onto the streets and march and celebrate. St. Patrick charmed all the snakes out of Ireland and into the sea where they drowned. Indeed, to this day, there are no snakes in Ireland. At least that's how the legend goes, and I wouldn't be one to be telling any fibs now, would I? So make sure you wear something green. And happy St. Pat's Day to you all.
Oh God.
Hello, people of world. It was this day in 1965 when the first man walked in space. Me. That's right. I am Russian cosmonaut. You see, we don't have astronaut. We have cosmonaut. We like to do things the Russian way. Do svedanya.
Oh, I can't believe this. This exists, guys. Oh God.
March 19, 1932, and the people of Australia celebrate the official opening of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, one of the world's great bridges. Here's an excited-looking bystander. Tell me, sir, what do you think of this remarkable achievement?
Oh, that's too big, mate. When are we ever going to get enough traffic for a bridge as big as that? Next year we want to do is build a tunnel under the harbour. Well, I was a lad, we didn't need bridges. We used to swim across the harbour twice a day, 4 times on a Sunday. Every morning I used to have to wrestle the sharks in the bay.
Oh God. I don't know if that's true in Sydney, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure there's more than enough traffic it's handling right now in this day and age.
Oh my! What a splendid, noisy place! In the very early days of European settlement of Australia, the first animal pound opened on this day in 1797 at Sydney Cove. All the lost, hurt or stray animals suddenly had a place to go and be looked after, and maybe even find a new owner. Caring for animals is so important. I should know because I'm a birdie myself.
Yep. Oh, here we go. April Fools.
April Fool's Day.
Silly hamburglar.
I love it. Let's do that again. No, not working. Okay, never mind. Good Friday. Yep, so they're going through like the different Easter holidays. Doesn't have anything. They don't mention anything in this. Probably none of the religious connotations or anything like that.
In the great sporting tradition of the ancient Greeks, we bring to the world on this day in 1896 the first Olympic Games of the modern era. By my calculation, that means it is only 60 years until we have the Olympic Games in Melbourne. A lovely place, Melbourne. I'm thinking of moving my family there. And 104 years until we hold them in Sydney. So let the games begin. Yasu!
Yeah, another Easter day.
What do you mean we're sinking? The Titanic is unsinkable. The idea is unthinkable. This is 1912 after all. These things don't happen anymore. Thousands of lives will be lost. Well, if we do sink, it's going to make a really terrific big-budget Hollywood movie.
They went there.
Seaman Hicks reporting, Captain Cook.
Ah, yes, Seaman Hicks. Look over there for me, will you, and tell me what you see.
Sir, I see the east coast of the island continent that one day will be called Australia, sir.
Well done. For being such a good lad, I'll call that piece of land Point Hicks after you. I just love sharing the glory of discovery. Yes, miss?
Hey, I bet you didn't know I love to go fishing. And look at this beauty. It's really big, but not as big as the biggest fish ever caught in the world. That was a great white shark, and it weighed 1.2 tons. It was caught off the coast of South Australia on this day, April 21st, in 1959. Cool.
Oh God, yeah, and the CGI graphics here are breathtaking.
Today, April 25, is one of the most special days on the calendars of Australians and New Zealanders. For on this day, 1915, troops of both countries went into battle together at Gallipoli. Many died and were injured during the long weeks of that terrible battle, and are all remembered on this day. The word Anzac comes from the initials of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps.
There you go. That's a highly respected day that we celebrate. Alright, going to go into May.
Happy Mother's Day, Mum. Apart from babies, mothers are the most precious people in the world. They give birth to, nurture and care for their children, and love them very dearly.
Today's the day to make her feel very special indeed.
Listen, I'm the notorious bushranger, Bull Ben Hall. I know not many of you heard of me. No, of course not. You're all too busy hearing about other bushrangers like Ned Kelly. Ned Kelly. Pah! I do all the serious bushrangering, and just 'cause he's got a big tin helmet, he gets all the attention. Well, it's not fair. I'm just as mean a bushranger as he ever was. Anyway, enough about him. Today's the day the police finally got me at Billabong Creek in 1865. But mark my words, I'm not finished yet. I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any mention. I think that's the only mention of Ned Kelly. Like, he's like the landmark bushranger, but yeah, obviously we've had other. I don't know why we treat them like heroes, to be honest, because they're all essentially just criminals, but just from the early Australian days, essentially, of colonisation.
On this day in 1908, Australia's badge to the world, our famous coat of arms showing a kangaroo and an emu, was unveiled. You know, just like Australia itself, these animals are truly unique and are found nowhere else on this planet.
Beauty, mate.
I was not expecting that last bit. Beauty, mate.
We all know the story of bushranger Ned Kelly. But on this day in 1870, another wild Australian bushranger was involved in a shootout with the New South Wales police in the New England district near Armidale. He was known as Captain Thunderbolt and was hunted by the police for over 7 years for his crimes of horse stealing and robbery. When asked by the police to surrender, he fearlessly called back, "I'll die first." Thunderbolt was killed in this battle and was buried in the nearby town of Uralla.
There you go, more history for you.
Ah, yes. I remember it well. I, Sir Edmund Hillary, with my trusty guide Sherpa Tensing, against all odds, in one of the harshest environments on Earth, fighting exhaustion and altitude sickness, reached the summit of Mount Everest on May 28, 1953. Why did we do it? We did it because it was there.
We did it because it was there. Okay. Alright, got a few in June.
Oh, spring, summer, autumn, winter. Yeah, right, cold. I'll tell you, cold. I wish I could jump around on the spot a bit to keep warm, but I've got these roots stuck in the cold ground. I tell you, it's like wearing frozen shoes. I already told you my leaves fell off in autumn. If it wasn't for this coat and gloves, I'd feel naked. All the birds have taken off somewhere warmer, so I've got no one to talk to. And then there's 3 months to go before spring. 3 months! So don't come complaining to me about winter. You got it easy.
Hey, boys and girls. This here's World Environment Day. It's here to remind us that our environment is our most precious resource. Every one of us can do our bit to help Mother Earth keep healthy. We can recycle, join a cleanup group, conserve water, plant trees, save electricity. So let's do it together and make sure that we can always say to ourselves, "What a wonderful world." Yeah.
I do not know why they chose like a Bill Clinton voice for this, but okay.
Extra, extra, read all about it. First mass circulation English newspaper came out today, June 7th, 1622, and here it is. Read all about today's first ever newspaper in today's first ever newspaper. You can only read about it today because tomorrow it won't be news anymore. It'll be olds. And no one's invented an olds paper yet. Extra, extra.
I love it.
That's right, boys and girls. On this day in 1962, the first TV pictures to be bounced off a satellite in space were received on Earth. The satellite's name? Telstar. Sounds and looks like something little green men from Mars would invent. But it's made right here on good old Earth. And it's changing the way we communicate.
Queen's birthday, I believe that's a public holiday we have.
On this day in 1983, 20 years after the Soviet Union's Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. Sally Ride was a physicist and an expert in working the space shuttle's robot arm. On the mission, she was in charge of deploying and retrieving the SPAS-1 satellite. It was the first time the robot arm had ever been used in space. Sally Ride is a role model for women scientists and adventurers around the world.
Not bad.
Hi, I'm June 22. They call me the winter solstice because I'm the shortest day of the year. It means there's less sunlight today than on any other day. In the southern hemisphere, it means that the sun is at its most northerly position for the year. But let me tell you, I might be the shortest day now, but when I grow up, I'm going to be the tallest. So look out!
That's a very cute voice they decided to give the winter solstice. Alright, July. And guess what? July the 4th, and you guessed it, they're going to attempt to do an American accent. Brace yourselves.
July 4th is the birthday of the United States of America. For 223 years, Americans have set aside this day to celebrate the freedom of their citizens. Hoo-wee! All around the country, good folks are holding picnics, putting on shows and athletic-type contests. Or maybe they're just enjoying the simple family gatherings to say thank you to their country. God be praised. So happy birthday, America. Yes, sirree. Happy birthday.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's a great day for the French people, a time for celebrating liberty and freedom. On this very day in 1789, the French Revolution began when the people of France stormed the prison in Paris, known as the Bastille. After that, things went a bit wrong, but that is not the point. The point is that a historic blow was struck for the freedom, and the whole world stood up to pay attention. Vive la France!
This is the news for this day, July 20, 1969. A day when one of mankind's greatest dreams has finally become a reality. The entire world watched in awe as American astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first man to walk on the surface of the moon. He was immediately followed by Edwin Buzz Aldrin, who landed their lunar module called the Eagle. The first words spoken by Neil Armstrong when he stepped onto the surface of the moon were, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
Yep. Hopefully this has been a highly educational experience for you all.
Well, it's my birthday, all right. In fact, it's every horse's birthday on August 1st. Us horses were pretty special, you know. Yep. Did you know that for thousands of years we were the fastest way for humans to travel? Hunters rode on our backs to chase and catch food for their families and tribes. We helped people move great distances in search of better places to live. I reckon there's a special relationship between us and humans. Real special. Well, I guess I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this is a thing, but apparently all horses are born around the 1st of August. I'm thinking it could have something to do in connection to the massive horse racing sort of culture that also comes about here in Australia, or more specifically Victoria. But yeah, that's just a thing that apparently happens.
Got a swan! You beauty! Hey, gang! Did you know that the first ever Aussie rules match was played in Melbourne on this day in 1858? And did you know that it is not just played in Australia, like a lot of people think? There is an International Australian Rules Association, which organizes teams from all over the world, like Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, USA, Canada, Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Great Britain, Ireland,
Alright, and then trails off with all the other countries. I was like, what sort of accent's that supposed to be? Like, it's supposed to be Asian, but jeez.
Guten Tag. My name is Johann Gutenberg. I printed the world's first book over 500 years ago, yeah? Of course, there were books around before I came along. The Chinese printed with wooden blocks 1,000 years before me, but I made the first, what we call movable type printing press, and I used paper. That's right, paper. No big deal for you, yeah? But until then we used this substance called vellum. And before that we used anything from leaves, bark, papyrus, linen, silk, leather, even clay, yeah? Books were a revolution in my time. As big a deal as computers are in your time. Goodbye.
God, this is the yeah. Oh, goodness.
One of Australia's greatest adventures began on this day, August 20, 1860, when Robert O'Hara Burke and William John Wills set off for their expedition from Melbourne to cross the vast emptiness of the Australian continent to the Gulf of Carpentaria. 6 months later, they reached their destination, but neither of them was to make it home again, as they both died on the way back to Melbourne after missing a supply expedition by only 4 hours.
Yep, there you go. All right, into September. It's my birth month. All right, so the first.
Yeehaw! Now we're talking. September 1, the first day of spring. The birds are singing, the sun is shining. The air smells so good. And look, I'm sprouting new leaves. Now this is living. Oh no, I must be the only tree in the world that gets hay fever.
Jewish New Year. There you go.
Hello, I'm a dad. Guess what? It's Father's Day. Definitely one of the most important days of the year, because today I get, let me see, I'll just get my list. Today I get breakfast in bed, check. I sleep in as long as I want to, check. Everyone becomes my personal slave, check. I get complete control of the telly, check. I get to play with anything I like.
God.
The countdown is on. Today is exactly 1 year from the opening day of the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, and wow, are we looking forward to it. Athletes and officials, visitors from around the world will join Aussies to celebrate the first Olympics of the new millennium.
Yeah, this is definitely showing its age because this was made in 1998, so again, Olympics being a massive international event, they were really, yeah, and I remember the 2000 Olympics, and holy crap, that was 20 years ago. Time flies.
Hello, Australia. Welcome to television. Coming to you live in glorious black and white. This is September 16, 1956, the dawning of a new era in entertainment and communications. What a milestone this is for Australia, and who knows, maybe one day we'll even have colour television. But for now, let's be thankful for this truly wonderful miracle of modern science.
No! Such a wonderful thing to see in 1973. The Sydney Opera House opened its doors and an opera was sung to rapturous applause. All thanks from every citizen to the genius architect,
Oh god. They had to sing the whole thing through. Oh, the breaking glass is perfect. Oh boy. Alright, we're nearly there.
Hey gang, October is a special month for all the animals that live in zoos, because it's Zoo Month. Get Mum or Dad to take you along to the zoo and make it a special family day. Go see all these wonderful creatures, great and small, and you can even play with some of them in the Friendship Farm. So what are you waiting for?
Friendship farms are apparently a thing. It's the first time I've heard of it. Alright, let's move on.
Hello, my name is John Montague, and I am the 4th Earl of Sandwich. Don't laugh. Sandwich is the name of a lovely town in England, and I was its Earl for over 70 years. Frankly, apart from being an Earl, I wasn't much good at anything else. They say I was a terrible lord of the British Admiralty, and I admit it. But I did invent the modern sandwich, and it was named after moi. C'est magnifique. When I was hungry, I used to get bored having to wait for meals to be cooked, so I thought up the idea of a quick, bready appetizer. At least I've got something to be proud of.
Ah, very punny.
Hello, how are you? I am up here in the balloon. My name is Jacques Garnerin, and in 1797 I have been working on the world's first parachute jump. In my first experiments, I tried putting parachutes on dogs. Off you go, Pierre. Now it's my turn. Hopla! Leonardo da Vinci may have thought of the idea, but it took a Frenchman to perfect it.
God. The poor dogs! Oh, God.
October 25 is National Family Day. It's a time when we remember family members who are far away and can't be with us today. It's also a great day to plan a family get-together, like a picnic or a barbecue, and just spend time with the family. Hey, what a perfect time to make that telephone call to friends far away. So happy Family Day, everyone!
Oh, that's pretty wholesome.
Good evening, madam. Trick or treat?
You're not a kid playing dress-ups. You're a real monster.
Yes, I am a monster. And I love Halloween. And I absolutely adore chocolates. So give me all you've got, or I'll haunt your house for the rest of the year.
Oh, God. All right. November.
And racing now. Rain Lover shot out to a lightning pace, then followed by Saintly Lad. Just a bell on the outside. Taylor's Friend is working hard as Blue Collar begins to stride out. Oh, wait a minute. Just thought I'd take this moment to welcome all the youngsters out there listening to this year's Melbourne Cup race, courtesy of Ronald McDonald's CD-ROM. Enjoy the race, kids. And into the final 400 we go. It's Priceless Fiddly and Battler's Boy neck and neck. Who will take out the cup this year is...
Oh, God. I love the fact that they sort of broke the fourth wall there and reminding us that, yes, this is a McDonald's game. Another thing I want to quickly mention is Halloween isn't that widely celebrated compared to... Well, especially in some parts of Australia, it's not as widely celebrated. It's still known for celebrating Halloween, but I think that one of the main reasons for that is because we have Melbourne Cup. We literally take a day off for Melbourne Cup. We actually have a public holiday for a horse race. They call it the race that stops the nation. Because of it being so close, usually it's the first Tuesday of November, Melbourne Cup usually overrides everything to do with Halloween by usually... people still, again, do Halloween here, but nowhere near as much as, say, America or perhaps other places around the world. But just thought I would mention that. So, yeah, if people are wondering, why people make a big deal about Halloween when some Australians don't really at all. But I think mostly under 18s nowadays and parents of those children generally be part of Halloween. But anyone else older than that, it's Melbourne Cup, really. We've got Remembrance Day. And Qantas.
Roger, check. Qantas flight QF505 to Melbourne. Current status, all okay, over. Just to fill you in while you're checking your navigation equipment, today, November 16, is the anniversary of the founding of Qantas in 1920, over. The letters of Qantas stand for the words Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services, over. Qantas has the best safety record of any airline in the world, never having lost a plane. This is Melbourne Air Traffic Control, signing off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still have that record of not losing planes, unless I'm sorely mistaken. But yes, Qantas is the main Australian airline.
November 28, 1948, and it's a day of celebration as the first Australian-made car, the Holden, rolls off the production line. And what a beauty she is too. Ready for sale and ready to drive the average Australian family into the future and beyond. Of course, that was only the first of many models that were to span the decades right up to the present, always making sure that in an uncertain world, Australians could feel proud in the knowledge that they truly have a car of their own.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, in recent years, all car manufacturing in Australia has moved overseas. So everything now, Holden and Ford and various other Australian car brands, are no longer made in Australia. So that's kind of showing its age right now. Yeah. Alright, now we're moving over into December. Home stretch.
The first day of summer. Holidays. A full canopy of leaves above my head for shade from the hot sun and lovely cold soil in the ground to keep my feet nicely chilled.
You know what I do on a hot summer's day? I sit beneath the shade of a cool tree, and man, I'm the coolest tree in the land. So take 5, hang 10, and look after number 1 in the sun. Don't forget your hat and your sunscreen. This is the life.
Yes, and also summer's probably the most dangerous season because Australia summer will literally kick your ass.
On this day, way back in 1854, a remarkable incident took place in the goldfields of Victoria. The miners rebelled against the government over unfair treatment and the disregard of their miners' rights. They set up a fortress to make a stand, and the battle that followed came to be known as the Eureka Stockade.
There you go. Beginning of Ramadan, there you go.
On December 13, 1642, the explorer Abel Tasman, after whom the Tasman Sea and the island of Tasmania are named, became the first European to sight New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud.
I have some more New Zealand trivia on the Australian calendar. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I'm surprised they actually didn't do any particular sound recordings for those particular entries.
Hey there! One of the world's great annual sporting events is the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, which starts out from Sydney every year on Boxing Day and finishes in Hobart well in time for the New Year's Eve celebrations. The first ever Sydney to Hobart race was held in 1945, but this year it's my turn to win. Wish me luck!
Yeah, that's a very another well-known race that happens every year.
Happy New Year!
Yep, and that ends that particular calendar for Australia. And we'll move over to the New Zealand one shortly. Alright, we're back again. And this time we're going to get more educated on everything New Zealand.
Catch me if you can. Woohoo!
Alright, so I'll go like as before. We'll start in January and make our way all the way through to December. So there's obviously some dates will be very similar, so if I recognise them and see them before, I'll probably skip over those, just to get the more unique ones to show up. So I'm pretty sure that we got the 1st of January down.
Well, it's quite a crowd here today watching
one.
this.
317.
I think the capital of Australia should be Melbourne.
On this day in
There you go.
1840, Edward Gibbon Wakefield, the pioneer responsible for settling the area which was to grow into the city of Wellington, sailed into the harbour to establish a settlement. Wakefield was looking for a suitable site to establish a port for his company, the New Zealand Company, and found this safe harbour ideal. Good on you, Gibbo.
Good on you, Gibbo.
159 years ago, the
We've done that
Waitangi
one.
Treaty.
As this year's official teddy bear representative, I'd like to welcome all teddy bears to our picnic celebrations. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to any young people out there joining us today. Please remember, teddy bears love picnics, honey, the company of children, and we are much safer to play with than your average real-life bear. So, a big welcome to all our members and have a great day. Hooray!
Okay, apparently New Zealanders have Teddy Bear Day. Okay, I was not aware of that.
Welcome to Chinese New
we've
Year,
done those
a
ones.
time of much happiness and noise.
It's that time again.
Today, March 6th, is the birthday of one of New Zealand's most famous international performers, opera singer Dame Kiri Te Kanawa. Recognised as one of the world's greatest stars of opera, she's appeared in the most famous roles in the great opera and concert halls of the world.
Okay.
Well, it's a great day for the Irish, to be sure.
Hello, people of
Oh,
world. It was this
Yeah,
day
yeah,
in
those
1965 when the first...
Let's do this one again.
April Fool's Day.
Silly hamburglar.
Yeah, those are Easter ones.
What do you mean?
Hey.
Today, April 25,
so that's all
is
identical
one of the
to
most special
Australia's.
days on the calendars. Happy Mother's Day, Mum.
Harmy hearties, what a day it was when one of the world's most sought-after trophies was won for New Zealand on this day, May 12th, 1995.
For it was on this day Team New Zealand's super yacht Black Magic defeated the American boat Young America to bring the trophy home to Auckland. The challenge to retain the America's Cup will be held in the waters off Auckland early in the year 2000. Come on, the Kiwis!
I love it. The piracy is real.
Don't dream it's over, Neil. It's just beginning. Today is Neil Finn's birthday. The absolutely awesome New Zealand rock musician was born in Te Awamutu, a small town near Hamilton. Most musos will be proud to say they've been in one successful rock band, but Neil has found fame and fortune with two groups. First with brother Tim and the gang, he went all the way with Split Ends. And then he formed one of the world's best groups ever, Crowded House. Now he's gone solo and he's bigger and better than ever. Happy birthday, Neil. We love ya.
Oh, I didn't realise he was a New Zealand treasure. That's nice to know.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, we've done Mount Everest.
I remember it well. I, Sir Edmund.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, boys and girls. Yes, here's World Environment.
You want to hear that again?
Extra, extra.
That's right, boys and girls.
On this day in 19...
Hi,
Okay.
I'm June 22. They
Yeah,
call
it's
me
all
the
the same.
Winter Solstice because I'm the short.
How's that?
On this day, July 3rd, 1951, one of the world's greatest cricket all-rounders was born in New Zealand. Sir Richard Hadlee played in 86 test matches for his country, capturing 431 test wickets and scoring over 3,000 test runs. He was the first bowler to take 400 test wickets. Sir Richard's first test wicket was taken on the 2nd of February 1973 at Christchurch, and he bowled his last test ball on the 9th of July 1990 in England. A true New Zealand legend.
Okay. And I like the fact that they're trying to attempt to do New Zealand accents as well. Or Kiwi accents, I should say.
July 4th.
Oh,
We've
he's
done
a
that
great.
once.
This is the news for this day, July 20, 1969. A day... Well...
Guten Tag.
No.
My name is Johann Gutenberg.
That's all
I
new
printed
stuff.
the...
Yeah, now we're...
Alright, checking into the newer stuff.
Hello, I'm a...
The countdown is...
No! Such a wonderful thing.
The Maori civilization was never defeated. There were many battles and clashes when sailors started arriving from Great Britain, and in the end, a treaty was signed. Today, October 1st, marks the anniversary of the first clash between British sailors and Maori warriors in 1834 on the Taranaki coast.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hello, my name is John...
Hello, how are you? I am...
Good evening, madam.
Alright, nothing else new there.
Or treat.
You're not a...
And racing
Yeah,
now,
open cup for some
Rain
reason.
Lover...
Kamate!
With the ferocious sounds of the haka ringing in their opponents' ears, the mighty All Blacks once more will take on the world's best rugby teams, as they proudly represent New Zealand in the 1999 World Cup, which kicks off on October 1st and ends today, November 6th, the day of the final. All New Zealanders will be 100% behind their team, hopefully all the way to the ultimate victory. We have our ups and downs, but we're still the greatest rugby nation in the world.
Yeah, so I know that New Zealand is really big on their rugby, and the funny thing is, I think New Zealand and Australia are sort of rivals in their own right when it comes to sport. Yeah, I know we're like technically next door neighbours geographically, and I think we sort of like to joke about it a bit, trying to one up each other in the sporting sort of realm. But no, I freaking love New Zealand. It's a beautiful country, and I love the accent, I love the people, and it's just a great place.
One of the most wonderful places on Earth celebrates its anniversary today. The Chatham Islands in the South Pacific Ocean. Every day, this is the first place in the world where you can see the sunrise. The Chatham Islands are 800 kilometres away from New Zealand, and they're home to 800 or so humans and to one of the world's rarest birds, the black robin, which we're all working hard to save from extinction. I think we see one coming now, so let's keep our voices down.
Yeah, because a bit of trivia, New Zealand is one of the very first few countries that see, or like that is way ahead in the time zone. So they're the first ones to see the first sun, the sunlight, essentially, or the new day. All right, over into December.
On December 13, 1642,
I think we've done that
the
one.
explorer Abel Tasman...
Ho, ho, ho! We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, girls and boys, it's only a week until Christmas, and it's time to get into the spirit of the season. If you're lucky enough to live in Auckland, tonight you can join us for the Christmas in the Park concert. It's a magic evening of Christmas carols, Santa hats, and happy people. It must be good, because last year more than 200,000 people attended. See you there.
Oh my goodness. Full of happy people. I don't think there's anything else new here. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Hey there!
Boxing, Sydney,
One of the
whatever it
world's
is,
great annual sport.
Happy New Year!
And Happy New Year. There you go. I think that is everything to show off. So New Zealand of course has a lot of overlaps to the Australian calendar and a few unique stuff in there too. So that was an interesting experience. I hope you enjoyed all of that and what just happened. And yeah, well, I might catch you guys later in some other video, should I ever upload here ever again. But for the time being, I'll just say this has been Mayo, and I am over and out.